Once upon a time, there's a company called Sony, and they made a system called the PlayStation 2. It had many, many games, many of which were good and will be remembered. And then there are other games that will be remembered for sucking so hard that you'll just want to blow your brains out and throw your PS2 out the window. Games that are so bad you have to wonder, how did this get past quality control? Games like The Sniper 2 for the PlayStation 2. This game is so bad, I'm not even going to sum up what's wrong with it right now. I'm just going to show you how crappy this game is.
Name Harry C. Spencer,
when you first start the game, you see a cutscene basically showing off the first game and what happened last time. As you can see, the graphics look a lot worse because there was actually a prequel to this made for the PS1. I don't know why they make a prequel, but oh well, I can't believe they made a sequel to this crap. I mean, I'm guessing the first one is just as bad as this, maybe even worse, but it was Japan only, so I won't know what's going on. And then the horror begins, with great cutscenes such as this one. By the way, this is the only rendered cutscene in the game. Just look at how bad this rendering is. And it's like they used a freaking 486 to render this. Like, you know, in the PS1 era. And the voice acting. It's like they used a bunch of shitty desktop mics. You know, the kind you use when you're making Skype calls to your friends. And the voices have no emotion. In fact, the voice acting's hilariously bad. Just listen to this.
If this mess is going to make you stop being yourself, maybe you should just get caught.
You're right, CA. I have had my revenge. I don't have to live like that anymore, to be on edge all the time.
Wow, thanks. I'm saved. My name's Stanley Jones. I'm a precision engineer for Aquarium Electronics.
An engineer? I would have thought an engineer could handle a little car trouble.
Yeah,
okay,
too,
I think I've already said my point. This game has the worst voice acting of all time in any video game. And the worst sound mixing too. There's almost no music or sound other than shitty elevator music. Did they hire some retard off the streets from McDonald's? It's like they went up to McDonald's and in the parking lot they were like, okay guys, we need voice actors for our shitty video game. And it seems like they only had a budget of $2, so they could only hire random people off the street for voice acting, and not just trained voice actors who actually, you know, actually are well known and are known for having talent and not just reading lines. So after sitting through an opening sequence, which you'll see about 15 times in the game, the actual graphics start. They look blurry. Maybe this is because it's running in PAL, but these just look like PS1 models. I mean, did they port this from the PS1? Because that's what this game looks like, a PS1 game. I'm not making this up. This is a PS2 game running on actual PS2 hardware, and it looks like a PS1 game. And the dialogue, like I said, is incredibly stupid, but when the game actually switches into game mode, you have to suffer through these cutscenes. But then again, I think you'll want to suffer through them because they're so hilariously bad. The gameplay is just as good as the cutscenes. And by that I mean blurry graphics and scoping trying to aim. The controls for aiming are terrible. You use the D-pad to look around. You can't even use the analog stick to move around. And then when you scope in, you can either use the analog stick or the D-pad. They do the same thing anyway, but your scope moves extremely slow, and the hit detection in this game is pretty bad. So when you're looking around trying to find the target, and you finally shoot, it might miss half the time. And half the time you only get one bullet, so it means it has to load the whole thing all over again. Especially in the later stages, this can get annoying. when you only have one bullet and you miss the guy or hit the wrong guy who looks really similar to the guy you're trying to hit. It's frustrating. I mean, yeah, I know, this is supposed to be a game about sniping, but... And then afterwards, after every kill, you have to see a slow-mo thing showing how you killed, while the worst elevator music in the world plays. And that's the whole soundtrack of this game. Shitty elevator music. All in all, the only thing that's good about this game are the shitty cutscenes. And that's because they're so laughably bad, you have to watch the cutscenes just to be blown away about how bad a PS2 game could possibly be for cutscenes.
The girl called Abby at the
The most of the plot I can decipher is that there's some mafia stuff in CIA, and they're using some biological weapon which can cause everyone to go mad after so many days. I can't even get this plot. This plot is just so bad. I really wonder if it was written by the people who wrote Sonic 06 or something, because this is just one of the worst plots in a video game I've ever played. The last annoying thing I'm going to mention about this game is the fact that half the time they don't even put you in the spot you're supposed to be, so you have to use the awkward D-pad controls to move yourself around, which can be frustrating, especially considering that the game has to load everything after you die again, so it can be annoying trying to load this over and over and over again. All in all, whoever made this game needs to get sniped. Like this. And yeah, you just gotta love that sound when they get sniped. They just make a sound which is like, ooh. Like, that's what people do when they die. They make a sound which is like, ooh. I mean, could they at least get somebody to fake a good death sound so it doesn't sound like, ooh. All in all, this is one of the worst games I've ever played in my entire life. Whoever made this game needs to get sniped, because this game is just that bad. It's so bad. It's bad. It's like, this is Big Rigs or Superman 64 bad. But the cutscenes are so bad, they're awesome. In fact, that's the only reason why you should play this game. To look at these cutscenes, and even then there are videos of these cutscenes on YouTube, so you should just watch one of these instead of playing this game. All in all, this is the worst game ever. Anyways, thanks for watching, and subscribe for more.